Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes every single damn time and subscribe if you are new. Chelsea versus Manchester City preview. Now, listen, this is the big game. FA Cup semi-final. There is no other game in the season upcoming that is more important than this. This is an opportunity to kill two birds with one stone, with one competition. This club every season, no matter where they are in their process, project, projections, they need to win a trophy. Every season, that should be the bare minimum. You can win a trophy. This allows us to do that. We need to qualify for Europe. I'm not going to, overcompensate for the Everton win and say that that's a signal for consistency, because this team is too up and down. It's a very difficult fixture list we've got coming up. We'll have to see how we do. So again, European football, you get it with this competition. And to be honest, the final, if you were to get there, the two teams that could go in there, you definitely have to back yourselves. You'd have to favour yourselves. It would be a chaos, two clowns sparring potential game against United, but you would have to back yourselves to get over the line and win that game. So this game against, obviously, favourites Manchester City, a team that we've drawn against twice, but a team that are coming off the back of 120 minutes in midweek plus a shootout. And it feels and it sounds like there are some tired legs. Maybe Kevin De Bruyne, etc. Erling Haaland, not the most impressive over the two ties. We had a really good performance at the Etihad that, maybe the changes and the substitutions could have been different. For some people, we could have maybe won that game at the Etihad. We obviously got the draw at Stamford Bridge as well with the late Palmer penalty. So We've played City and we've played well against them now. So there shouldn't be any fear going into this game. And like I said, we got 2 days on them in terms of our recuperation from the Everton game. Nowhere near as taxing, nowhere near as draining mentally or physically as opposed to their game on Wednesday. So we got the physicality on our side on a big Wembley pitch. Could go to extra time, could go to penalties. I think that's probably the most likely situation right now. And they might rotate. I haven't got them rotating their team in my predicted City team or my expected City team, because I just want to put out the most, strongest potential possibility just to not get ourselves too comfortable around here. You know what I'm saying? Let's not make it seem like it's going to be an easier day than it might be. He might play a strong team. It's an FA Cup game, semi-final. It's an opportunity to do a double. But he might rotate. And then, they've still got great players coming in. It could be Rico Lewis. It could be Alvarez. It could be all of these guys. But let's prepare for the worst, which is the best team that they could possibly put out. So, I don't want to hear any excuses after this game, if we don't go through about physicality. I don't want to hear the players are tired. That's just, right now, rule that out. That can't be said. That can't be a reason. Now, obviously, the press conference, Pochettino, I thought was pretty good. He spoke about Cole Palmer and the expectations, and obviously the whole penalty situation getting squashed, which was good. I thought his quotes after the match was good. Long time coming, but eventually now he's got to a point where he said, that's not going to happen again. If it does, there'll be consequences, and I assume it will be fines. I assume it will be docked wages. Because I think that's the severity it needs to go to now. So happy to hear all of those things from him. And with Cole Palmer, it is about managing expectations, because he's having an incredible season. He's going for a golden boot. He's going for the Playmaker Award. He's going to be in with a shout for PFA Player of the Year, PFA Young Player of the Year, Team of the Season. But I don't want us to do what has happened to many other youngsters, which is we overly we put them on a pedestal that is not fair. There's still long ways to go for Cole Palmer. I agree with him. He's definitely exceeded expectations. No one would have imagined he would have put out this crazy output this season. But next season, it's about following it up. Can he do what he's done this year? It's going to be a tall order, but it's about managing that and managing his environment and not allowing him to, and I don't think he will, but not allowing him to, get too egotistical or too cocky, which I don't think he will. But it is about, now guiding him through this period, because he is in red hot form. He's going up against his old club. He had a say in the home game. He is in red hot form. He's off the back of 4 goals. I don't care who the opposition is. 4 goals is an incredible feat. A perfect hat trick, and then obviously a penalty to kind of put the cherry on the cake. When someone's in red hot form like this, it's important that the people around him are calm, are composed, are not going to overly gas him, are still going to tell him what he can work on and what he can improve. So I like that from Pochettino, and I don't want us to start throwing around silly tags like world class and all these things, because there's still so much more to prove. There's a Euros, which I think he'll be involved in. There's Champions League whenever we get there. There's so much more to do. So just buzzing for him, enjoy the moment. You know, don't put crazy levels of pressure because he's still young, and everybody else, you need to level up and help him out. So that's good to hear. Now, in terms of my team for this game, I do feel like we should stick with what we went with against Everton. Now, there are kind of questions and doubts about, will Chilwell come back into the frame? Will Enzo come back into the frame because of his fitness situation? I personally would like Enzo to go and get surgery. My thing is with Enzo is I'm more interested in his long-term health and fitness over short-term gains and short-term, injections and whatever it needs to be for him to play through pain. I'm not interested in that. I want the best version of Enzo for Chelsea Football Club next season, when everybody starts from zero and we can potentially do something seriously significant. Obviously, this trophy is important, but we should be able to, against Manchester City, we should be able to still cope without him. He hasn't become one of these players, in my opinion, that is indispensable. And if he's not there, then we can't cope. It's not at that point. So we need to be okay without him. Go with Gallagher and Caicedo in that midfield again. You've got your engine. You've got a partnership that really did very well against Everton. This is a completely different level of opposition, a completely different outfit in Manchester City. But if we are to not have as much possession, if we are to sacrifice the ball a little bit more, which I think we will, then Gallagher and Caicedo can get around. They can cut out passing lanes. They can do their due diligence. And don't make Enzo play in pain in a game which is going to be so magnified. It's not good for the player and it's not good for the team. So for me, I'd stick with what we went with in the midfield. I'd go with Palmer in the 10 again because, listen, I want him to be at the epicenter of everything we do. And he played really well. So if he is adapting to that position, then that only opens up the space for Madueke, which is good. Mudryk on the left, I'd stick with. And we have that pace out wide and we have those players that are direct. And Madueke was really good against Everton. So opportunity for you to now go and cook somebody else. Go and attack Vardiol if he's playing. Go and attack whoever plays at left back. It's most likely going to be a centre back at left back. Go and make them uncomfortable. Make them give you a penalty. Make them, get them booked early on. First 5, 10, 20 minutes. Get them booked. That should be your first protocol. There could be some conversation around Sterling. Sterling in the last 2 games against Manchester City, home and away in the league, he cooked Kyle Walker to oblivion. Some of his best performances in a Chelsea shirt. But does that mean he comes back in? I don't know, because for me, I did say I wanted to give Mudryk a run of games. He wasn't brilliant against Everton, but he did play a part in one of the goals. Listen, I don't know what's going to happen with Mudryk. I've kind of just want to give him his time and see if Poch can develop him, because we've spent so much money on him and we need to see a return. I'm seeing so far some really good development signs from Madueke. I'm seeing great dribbling. I'm seeing a shot in him. I'm seeing hopefully an improvement in passing selection and decision making. I'm seeing work rate. I see little things with Mudryk, but obviously, like I've always said on this channel, not worth the price paid. Should have been similar fee to Madueke and then similar expectations, because lots of developing to do. At the end of the day, if you're going for the long term and you're going for next season and you're going for the season after, and you're trying to, Mudryk really does need to play these games, because we need to elevate his development. We need him to progress. So I'd probably leave it how it is, to be honest, and leave Sterling on the bench. But if you do go with Sterling in your teams, in the comments, do let me know. I'd understand, because if Kyle Walker is playing there, then he's got his number and maybe a chip on his shoulder, of course, playing against Manchester City in the first place. Jackson definitely has to go up front, and the back line, I mean, we don't really have much choice. I mean, it's got to be Silva and Trevor. I will say one thing that I am wary of right now. There's a lot of talk about Erling Haaland. He is his footballing ability is being questioned. I mean, personally, I don't think there should be too much discrepancy between what we thought last season and this season. Just because he scored all those goals doesn't mean he was a great footballer in terms of, he's not a Wayne Rooney, he's not a Aguero, he's never been. So I don't really see why now it's being flagged up. Obviously, he wasn't too involved in the knockouts, but we saw even games last season where he's not that involved and then he just scores. So, a goal shouldn't really change the overall 90 minutes. We know what he is at this point. But in terms of this game, do I think we have the perfect centre-backs to deal with him? I don't think so. I'm looking at like Van Dijk, and I'm looking at Gabriel, and I'm looking at Rudiger, and they're really aggressive. They're tall, they're strong, they're quick. We we're a little bit fragile. We saw it against Everton. You know, we can be bullied on set pieces. They had so many chances. Beto, if he kept himself on side, could have had a goal. Every single corner, every single cross was a problem. And this is where Manchester City can hurt us, because in midweek, to be honest, long shots they were restricted to, crosses into Hairline in the first half, and set pieces. And if Man City are tired, they'll keep the ball to reserve their energy, and they'll win set pieces, and they'll look to capitalise on us in that area where we are appalling. And they have Diaz, and they have Vardiol, and they have Hairline, and they have players that can be a problem, Akanji, whoever plays. And that could be our kryptonite. We conceded an extra time to Liverpool, Van Dijk from a corner. So I'm actually not as... I mean, listen, Man City have threats all over the place, but set pieces and their physicality throughout the team, I didn't even mention Rodri, another one as well. That's my biggest worry. And our centre-backs, listen, I'm going with Trevor and Silva because they're off the back of a clean sheet, and I don't think, you know, our other centre-backs have been particularly impressive either. I think Trevor and Silva have, you know, brought a little bit of calmness back, but still physically and, you know, aerially, we're very, very weak. So I'd leave it the same, but I would definitely be cautious of the fact that we probably will concede, you know, a goal or two. And that means the front line needs to be firing, because, you know, it's not going to be an easy day defensively. Now, we have to hope that also Manchester City maybe have their eye on Brighton. Maybe they won't be at their best, you know, and then we can really fully capitalise. But for me, I don't want to leave this game the way that those teams left the Champions League, which was we didn't really put, you know, many shots on goal. We didn't create many big chances. We didn't really leave it all out there. That's the worst way to exit a competition. Worst way to exit a competition is to feel like you could have done a whole heap more than you did, to feel like you didn't show your qualities, to feel like you didn't really bring it all to the table. If you're going to go out tomorrow in a semi-final to Manchester City, which is not a disgrace, even though I really need you to win, we all really need you to win. We need to win this trophy. We know that. But it's not a disgrace. I'm not going to judge our whole season based on this fixture, because the league is bread and butter, and that's where the disappointment really lies. That's where the problems really are in terms of the position if we don't finish in the top six. But do not leave that pitch without having put everything on the line, because this is a massive game, bigger game for you than it is for City. So I don't want to, you know, leave that game thinking anything else. So yeah, that's my team. The City expected team is on your screen. Like I said, they might and could make rotations because they are tired under 120 minutes, but I can't predict what Pep's going to do. This is just the team that is the strongest available, or based upon what they've been playing with recently, but we can't predict rotations. He'll probably go with maybe Ortega in goal. He'll probably go with Stones at the back. Maybe he'll bring in Alvarez into the team. He'll probably bring in Oscar Bob, or maybe he'll bring in Rico Lewis. I don't know. There's a whole heap of selections and changes he could make to that team, so it's impossible to predict. That will be based upon training and recovery and the way that they've responded to the 120 minutes in their training camp. So we'll have to see with that. So yeah, you know, Carney Chukwuemeka, it's an interesting shout maybe for you guys. Would he start? I don't think so, because he didn't start against Everton, so I just don't think he's going to start at Wembley. I think we're just easing him in, managing his minutes. He'll be a good impact off the bench. Our bench could be and will be pretty depleted, so it's pretty important that we do try and get this done in the 90 minutes, try and win the game in normal time, because the subs coming on won't really elevate the team, in my opinion. They'll probably weaken it. So yeah, that's the preview, guys. Make sure you smash up the likes. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. The road to 90k has begun, and the watch along tomorrow will start at 3:45, of course, and then we will rock on from there. So yeah, that's it. That's it, guys. Until next time, big up your damn selves. In a bit, people. Peace.